welcome back to Pop Salt and Culture. I am your host, La Chichimambo, and this week I'm excited because we're going to be talking about something that I have wanted to address for a long time. As per our last family meeting that we had in the community section where I asked you guys what topics you want us to discuss, you all mentioned that you did want me to talk about wellness and social commentary, and so specifically BigBrother Naija, the new BigBrother Naija season. And so in the spirit of doing just that, I decided that I'm going to touch on a topic that I've wanted to for a while, and this is masturbation, because it's YouTube and I cannot fully say that word, but you know, self-pleasure, self-pleasuring, masturbation. I think this is such an opportune time to talk about this because in the BigBrother Naija house, right on the first week, there was all this banter and rave about a certain girl who was found, you know, masturbating because when she first got to the house, she mentioned that one of her guilty pleasures was self-pleasure, like pleasing herself and then feeling guilty about it later on.
Guilty pleasure.
Oh, that, okay. I would say most of the time I masturbate and then I get really irritated after.
You get really what?
I get really like, you know when you do something and you feel like, why the fuck did I do this thing? It doesn't even make any sense.
What do you say? Go back and do it again.
And my God, this is something we really should talk about. First off, after she made that confession, so to speak, about her guilty pleasure being self-pleasure, masturbation, and how sometimes she gets guilty when she practices it, there was a point where she was in bed and she was sleeping, and then because of certain movements in the bed, people said she was masturbating. And later on again, I think this week, the same thing happened and people said she was masturbating, and they also thought at some point that one of the guys was, went to the bathroom to masturbate after a whole truth or dare or frisky session with the housemates. If you've been watching the BigBrother Naija show, you know that this is not new whatsoever. So I was, a little taken aback by the fact that it was causing such a ruckus on Twitter and the internet. And so when I did a little more investigating, I discovered that a lot of people were saying, well, this girl is from the north of Nigeria, and most people from the north of Nigeria are Muslim and conservative, and some of these areas follow Sharia law, so they're really conservative. And people are saying like, well, no respectable person will let their family member come on to BigBrother Naija, so this is really really crazy. People are just saying like, this northern girl is out here just being disruptive and the antithesis of a girl from that part of Nigeria. So then I thought to myself, oh, so because she's from Nigeria, then she's not human and she's not a sexual being? Like, what are you really saying? What are you really trying to say? Or what are you saying by that? So I just found the whole thing to be very offensive, to be quite frank. But anyways, let's move on. I want to talk about the whole guilt part, right? Because that's super important and I want to hone in on that. The fact that you feel guilty after self-pleasure or masturbating is very normal for a lot of girls and a lot of people who have been socialized to feel like self-pleasure is evil, like self-pleasure is just of, the dark and the underworld and every dark horrible thing that you can think of. It's just not a righteous, holy, good thing to do. I find that quite weird because we're all sexual human beings, right? So why demonize something that is quite normal? So at some point, a lot of girls who grow up in religious environments do experience this terrible guilt, right? From society, from religion, sometimes even from your significant others who are not open and honest with their bodies and their sexuality, right? I'm going to do a whole video next week about the importance of masturbation, the absolute importance of self-pleasure. It is not a joke, you guys. It is important to know your body. It is important to explore your body sexually so you also know what you like, what you don't like, etc., etc. It's very important. I think it's ridiculous for you to be older and grow up and past that teenagehood stage and have no clue how to, be brought to pleasure. It's especially for a woman, that is not okay. But anyways, so that's addressing the part of guilt. That's society, that's religion, it happens. And I wish that Kaisha will watch this later. Her name is Kaisha from Sokoto, Nigeria. She's in the Big Brother house. I hope she would watch this later and understand that, listen, free yourself. And so far as you are pleasuring yourself in the balance, you're not overdoing it or you're not underdoing it, because there's such a thing as being undersexed and underpleasured, and there's also such a thing as being oversexed and overpleasured, and then what happens? Certain things don't go right down there, and I'm going to address all of that. So it's perfectly good and healthy to please and release and be happy and just be good as a woman, right? It's important. So that's that about the guilt. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is the hypocrisy and the stupidity of it all. You guys are in a house where the tension, the sexual tension is peak. They're beautiful. Everyone there is beautiful. And you have all these young people of the opposite sex, and they do practice a lot of, sexual activities there, in terms of just the games they play and stuff like that. Even though it's not necessarily physical sexual activity, eventually it does happen in the house. But do you prefer strangers, people who don't know each other, don't know their sexual statuses, have not run STD tests on each other, to go be exchanging fluids, saliva, licking faces, licking throats, just tongue down each other's throats, body parts and whatnot, frisky under the sheets? You actually prefer that to self-pleasure, which is completely healthy when done right. You're telling me that if Kaisha is from a conservative society, then I would actually expect her to masturbate more than actually have physical sexual activity in the house, right? All those people who are criticizing her, screaming and saying, oh my God, abomination of this useless girl, let's take her out of the house, self-pleasure, I know that for ages and eons, the sexuality of women have been suppressed and oppressed, and there was a point where people really didn't believe that women had sexual urges because they were just, created to please a man. Their entire bodies and being were created according to the holy books, as a vessel to help the man, and that's about it. That's why they pay their bride price, they take care of them like little children, and this, when a man marries them, it's an investment, they take on the man's name, and they're just like property, and property doesn't have feelings, it's a commodity. They waify women in that way. Meanwhile, these are full functional human beings like you. So if you're laughing about a man in the house who you said went to the bathroom to, masturbate and release after a fun, heated, sexually charged game, you're laughing. But when it comes to a woman, you're in awe, you're shocked, and you're disgusted and all that. So my message for the women and the men criticizing her is take a chill pill. She's a human being. She's a fully functional human being, just like you and myself. So Kaisha, it is totally okay. I remember a few seasons ago, another housemate called, I think, Anika, was also accused of masturbating. And I was just mortified once again. Let these women be. It is much healthier to exchange their own bodily fluids with themselves and release and make themselves happy and whole in the house, instead of chasing and exchanging bodily fluids and saliva with people whose STD status they do not know. Maka lost. maka I like you, maka ship that needs to sail. Like, relax. And yeah, let these girls, you know, let them enjoy themselves. Let them please themselves if they want to. It is none of your beef or your business, or what you want them to be so pent up. You want just to fall into your bed, you don't want them to please themselves, is that it? Because that might be the agenda. That might be the agenda, that everybody wants to rave and frown upon it so that, okay, they can go into a relationship and so another ship can sail. Y'all need to chill and let Kaisha be. I absolutely love her. And anyone in the house, like, free them and free their purse, okay? Masturbation is completely okay. I am going to do a full video on the actual benefits of masturbation, how to do it and how not to do it, okay? And until next week, I have been your host, La Chichi Mamba for Pop, Salt and Culture. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can watch these videos right here, okay? I love you guys. Bye.